record this. So I'm going to record this session describing how to solve each of these problems, because this takes us through all of them. So the first one, this one's called a central angle. We know that because the vertex of the thing is in the center. So if this arc that it meets is 80, how big is this angle x? Good. It'll be exactly the same. Because if I'm spinning around the outside of the circle, that's 360 degrees. And if I'm spinning around the inside of the circle, it's also 360 degrees. So those would match. Number two, this angle has now not settled on the center. It's been pulled all the way back to the edge of the circle, which means it's an inscribed angle. So in this case, if this is a 120-degree arc, how big is x? Someone be brave. And look at your notes. Where's our inscribed angle? Right down here, bottom right. What does it say about A and B?
1/2 of 120.
Yep. So 1/2 of 120, which is 60 degrees. Okay.
Are we writing this down somewhere, Ms. Erling?
So Zay, I posted this on Google Classroom, but I was way too late. It was like 30 minutes ago. So A, I'm guessing none of you even knew it was there. B, I know that a number of you have a problem with printing and things like that. So you probably don't have this. But if you could take a spare sheet of paper and just write these problems down and do the solutions with me, I think it would help you.
All right.
Or if you have a printer and want to print it later and do it, that's fine too. But again, I'm recording this, so I'll send you guys the video and you can watch this later too. So here, what do? This is a POI inside, right? Not on the circle and not right in the center, but we're looking for measures, not segments. So how do I find x?
1/2 of 40 plus 120.
Very good. It's the average of these two. So 40 and 120 is 160, so 1/2 of 160 is equal to 80. The most important thing at this point is you to recognize that all of these three have something in common, and all of these three have something that's different. What's common about all of these? There's a couple things that are common, actually. Anyone see anything that's common about those? They're all looking for angle measures and arc measures, and they're all on the inside of the circle. They're dealing with chords or smaller. So now we're moving on to the second row. And these are also looking for angles and arcs, but now they're with POI outside. So what's the formula for this? If I want x, it's kind of like this last one, except instead of adding those together, I'm going to take 150 minus 40. So 55 degrees. This one is exactly the same. Even though this one has a secant and this one has a tangent, it's still the same process. I'm going to say that this angle on the outside is half the difference between these two. So this one is 170. This one is 50. So half of 120 equals 60. What about the last one? There's two ways we can do it. There's a shortcut, and there's the normal way. The normal is exactly this process. It's still going to be 1/2 of 200 minus something, but the problem is we can't see what that something is. How do we find that? What's all the way around in a circle? Come on. What's all the way around in the circle?
360.
360. And if we've used up 200 for this part, how could we find what's here?
360 minus 200.
Good. And so that's what we put here as this second part. This is just a normal process. It's the same thing. It's just that they didn't give you that other little part. Since these are tangents, it's not lopping off any of the circle. So it's all included. So that's 1/2 of 40, which is 20 degrees. And there was a shortcut. Do you remember the shortcut? This was in our notes. Where is it? Here it is, this one. A is equal to the big one minus 180. So in this case, I'd say x equals the big one, 200, minus 180, which is 20 degrees. So the same answer, just two different ways of coming at it. Please give me a clapping if you're feeling like, okay, I can do this. If I've got my notes and I'm looking at these problems, I think I can come up with the right solution and do it. Thumbs up means I'm confused. There's something that's difficult for me and I need some support. Please try to give me something. Somebody just joined as Tuan. Can you tell me who that is?
It's Antoine.
Antoine. Oh, good. Thank you. The way it was spelled threw me off. Nice to see Antoine. Okay. Get back up here. So notice that those first 6 problems we just went through, all of them are about angles and arcs, right? They all end in degrees. These next 3 problems are what we did today. So these are about segment lengths. So this first one is a POI inside. Remember the formula for this? Come on, someone's got it. How these are broken up. Annabelle, you had me do an extra one of these. Do you remember how to do this?
For that, isn't it like 6 plus 10?
Close. 6 times 10 equals,
And then 12 times x.
good. So 60 equals 12x,
Then divide by 12.
good. X equals 5. All right, and these two are both POI outside, which means our formula is what? So what's the whole of this one? Bueller.
6 plus 6.
Thank you. 6 plus 6. And what's the outside?
6.
6. And what's the whole of this one?
Would it be 1 times x?
1
Or 1
plus x, right? Because that's how long it is. And then times x. Scary. Because this is going to come out to 216 equals x plus x squared. This is a quadratic. Do you remember how to solve a quadratic?
No.
Get them all set to one side. So I'm going to say 0 equals x squared plus x minus 216. And then I have to factor that. I'm going to bring it back up here. So I'm going to say 0 equals, well, let's see. I know that I'm going to have x in front. And these last terms have to multiply to make 216. And one will be positive and one will be negative. But when I add the middle terms, I'm only going to get a 1. So they're really close together. So it's almost the square root of 216. 216, I don't know the square root of that, but 225 is 15 times 15. So let's see what happens. I'm going to take 216 and divide it by like 16. That doesn't come out evenly. 216 divided by 15. That doesn't come out evenly. 216 divided by 14. 216 divided by 13. 216 divided by 12. It makes 18. You know what, guys? I guess I gave you one that's broken. That's what happens when I scramble and try to do it in the morning. Sorry. So let's just leave that one as it is. You can see the setup of it, but that's not the type of challenge I wanted to give you in solving it. What about this last one? Can we do a whoop? Or do you know the shortcut?
15 squared equals x squared.
Which means x and 15 are the same. Okay. I'm going to stop us here. We have not quite finished chapter 10.7. One more little, actually we didn't do 10.7, we did 10.6, we just stopped on 10.7. So that's a good place to stop. And we'll do this last part next time. Okay guys, let me take a quick picture so I know who's here for attendance.